everyone, welcome to another video. Today's topic of conversation, houseplants, and this week I actually went to buy my first houseplants. Admittedly, I already have a cacti. Who knows whether I should be using the plural in this or not, but here we go. And I've managed not to kill this off. This has actually got some growth, so it's surviving and nurtured rather than just not dead yet. So I'm really pleased with myself with this. I've managed to look after this, which is a little bit lower maintenance than some varieties of houseplants, but I thought I'd challenge myself to try and keep another living thing alive now, and have actually been and bought some houseplants from my local garden centre. So here with me I have a Manterra lyconora fascinator. I believe that's the correct way of saying it. I'll probably put that on the screen, which is a prayer plant. It's a particular variation that has these absolutely beautiful leaves and veins. I hope you like my pot as well. This is a pot that's been revamped with a little bit of Van Gogh inspired artwork by myself. I hope you like it. Just to kind of jazz up the pot a little bit. Just move some leaves out of the way so you can kind of see a little bit more. There we go. And it's been glossed over just so it's a little bit more waterproof. Yeah, but these are paints I already have because I'm a little bit of a arty kind of person and already do stuff anyway. So I just thought I'd revamp this ceramic pot for in my window. There we go. And on here is Monstera deliciosa, which is a Swiss cheese plant. I will go into a little bit deeper discussion about this later because this plant specifically, and some others, I would obviously always advise about checking and researching first about what is suitable for your environment and who lives with you, particularly cats, dogs, children and other pets that you may have, because this species of plant is particularly toxic to cats and dogs. And admittedly, yes, I do have a dog, but this is kept completely somewhere where my dog has no access to it. So that is not even a chance within my household that they will access this. If I thought it was danger in terms of my scenario, I would not have purchased this plant. So there are lots. Obviously, I'm not idealist and naive enough to believe that having a couple of house plants is going to completely eradicate the issue we have with carbon emissions and CO2 and other gases that are causing the heating of our planet, but hopefully it may encourage others to improve their decor with some houseplants in their own house as well, because there are a lot of personal benefits to having plants within your house. First and foremost, they look pretty. I think they just add a little splash of colour, particularly because obviously you can see I've got a grey painted wall here to a room. They're really good for that. And especially with my painted pot and these beautiful underleaves and veins, they just add, and the lime down the middle of the leaves, they just add such a splash of colour to a room. They are apparently capable of reducing stress and anxiety. They act fantastically as a natural border for things and actually help to reduce noise pollution as well, because they can be used for absorption and deflection of sound. So kind of can create a more harmonious environment, whether it be your home office, your kitchen, your bedroom, or your living room, wherever you decide that you may want to have some houseplants. I also think it's really nice to have something organic and healthy and natural within your surroundings. It kind of draws you a little bit closer to nature in your own space, which I think is really, really nice. And wouldn't it all be nice if we were all just a little bit more green fingered and had something else to care for and look after? I think that's a really nice way of kind of expanding your hobbies and expanding your network for something to be empathetic about and to love and nourish and nurture and care for. Obviously, there's a lot of things to consider when you have to go to get yourself a house plant or something, even outdoor plants within your garden space as well. This applies to that too, in terms of you could have trees, shrubs, vines, plants within your garden instead of just within your house. Obviously, you have to consider the environment that you are able to provide for a plant, which will allow it to grow effectively and well. So you have to consider room temperature, room humidity, light, dampness of soil, how often you need to water and feed a plant, because if you're not available to water and feed it as regularly as some plants may require, then you may need something that doesn't need those circumstances and is a little bit more low maintenance, like a cactus or a cacti or a succulent. There's also sunlight, natural sunlight, whether it be that you have a window space or a balcony space that you would like to kind of revamp with some greenery or some flowers. You also have to consider about shade, fluctuations of temperature, and if you have got drafty areas, especially by windows. Obviously, please do your research before you go and invest in a plant, because they're not cheap to start off with in terms of a pot, some compost. I have houseplant compost. I'll go a bit further into compost a little bit later in this video. And also the cost of the plant itself. You don't want to invest a lot of money in something that you may not successfully be able to nurture or keep alive. So that's something to bear in mind. There also is the issue with pest infestations. You have to be careful of that. Fortunately as well, pollen. There's a lot of house pollen varieties that house plant varieties that do not release a lot of pollen, so you obviously have to be careful of people that may have hay fever, allergies or asthma, or also that may release something into the environment that can aggravate conditions. So that is definitely something that you should research into. There's also the issue of the carbon footprint that buying a plant can have. A lot of these varieties are from other places. As far as I know, the prayer plant, these are best in rainforest environments. They grow on rainforest floors. So how did this get here, you may ask? I'm not entirely sure about that. I don't know whether it was via seeds or cuttings or plants actually imported into my country. So that is something you have to consider with the initial carbon footprint. There's also plastic pots as well. These are obviously a disposable piece of plastic most of the time that we don't want, so please always reuse these. And also be careful about compost as well, because apparently with peat is a natural resource very much similar to oil and natural gases, crude oil and natural gases, that takes an awful long time to develop and become what it is, because it's from decomposed plant matter. And obviously, as we are accessing and using these resources, they are not going to be readily available in the near future because they take such a long time to be generated, processed and created. So obviously, please be careful as well with compost. Pest infestations, obviously you have to be careful with those. People are not going to be happy if they end up with mites or whatever it is that infects plants within their house. No one's going to be happy about that. I did see online that it did suggest do not use soil from your garden for indoor plants, and then you are not bringing anything in from outside that may already be outside. You want to keep it outside, don't you? You don't want those things being brought into your home. Quite understandably, neither do I. There are also some other environmental benefits and positives from having houseplants above and beyond the initial taking carbon emissions from the environment and replacing them with less harmful gases such as oxygen. They also help to remove some toxins from the environment, dependent on the plant species, which you will be able to find out quite easily online. They are also great for regulating temperature and also help to remove airborne dust, especially seeing as things kind of like lay on the tops of leaves, which you should clean and make sure that they're okay so that the plant can breathe, because we all need to be able to do that. I would really love to see all of your photos of houseplants. If you already have some, or even of your garden, I would love to see what guys are out there that are already green fingered already or are hoping to be so in the future. Please contact me via Instagram and send me your photos and comment down below about houseplants. I hope that I've provided some information about these. Obviously, I'm a complete novice of this, and I will post a future video regarding how well my plants are actually doing and whether they've managed to survive living in my crazy household or not. I hope I can look after them properly. I've done my research. I can only advocate that you will do the same and get plants that are suitable for your household. These plants don't particularly need a lot of direct sunlight, so these are ideal for my house because I don't particularly want to put them directly within the window space. I want them to be able to be kept away from my dog, who I love dearly, and do not want anything happening to him. So that's why I've decided to have these plants that can live without direct sunlight or excessive amounts of direct sunlight, and keep them away from him so that they don't make him poorly. Please remember there are varieties of plants out there, indoor and outdoor, that are dangerous to animals, especially if you have pets, or can be harmful to people with allergies or existing conditions, or for children as well. So please do your research. usually there's people within your local garden centre that will be able to give you the correct information and about what best suits your scenario, because we all have slightly different lives, different lifestyles, different places where we live. So there's always that to consider. Please get in touch with me about your house plants and your garden plants if you like. I have and bees as well. Obviously, bees, brilliant. I absolutely adore bees. If you have any pollinator plants within your garden, would absolutely love to see those photos on Instagram. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone.